Imagine living in a quiet, small town. Until one day, a letter arrives, anonymous, threatening, and filled with your darkest secrets. And you're not the only one. Your neighbors get them too. Then a man dies. A booby-trapped gun is found. And even after a suspect is arrested, the letters never stop. You're watching Unread Files. This is the chilling true story of the Circleville Letters. Secrets in small-town Ohio. Circleville, Ohio, a quiet town of just over 13,000 people in the late 1970s, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, where you trust your neighbors, until someone starts watching and writing. In 1977, dozens of residents began receiving disturbing handwritten letters. They were postmarked from Columbus, about 30 miles away, but carried no return address. The author claimed to know the recipient's deepest secrets and threatened to expose them. Mary Gillespie targeted. The first major target was Mary Gillespie, a local school bus driver. The anonymous writer accused her of having an affair with the school superintendent, Gordon Massey. Mary denied it, but the letters kept coming, and it didn't stop with her. The writer mailed similar notes to her husband Ron, co-workers, and the school board. The tone was aggressive. The handwriting, all caps, shaky, became instantly recognizable. Someone was determined to shame her. And they wanted an audience. A death with no answers. On August 19, 1977, Ron Gillespie got a phone call that reportedly came from the letter writer. He grabbed his gun and drove off in a panic. Later that night, his truck was found crashed into a tree. Ron was dead. Authorities ruled it a drunk driving accident, saying he had a blood alcohol level of 0.16. But his family insisted he rarely drank. Even more suspicious, his gun had been fired once, but there was no indication of what he might have fired at. There were no witnesses, no suspects, just silence. And then, more letters. Escalation and paranoia. After Ron's death, the letters grew more intense. They weren't just warnings anymore, they were harassment campaigns. The writer sent dozens more notes, targeting police officers, politicians, teachers, even children. They described vehicles, schedules, conversations no one should have overheard. Circleville went into lockdown mode. People changed phone numbers, security systems sold out, trust disappeared. And still, the writer wasn't done. The booby trap and arrest. In 1983, Mary Gillespie found a sign along her bus route threatening her daughter. She stopped to remove it and found a cardboard box behind it. Inside was a .25 caliber pistol rigged to fire if the sign was pulled. A booby trap. Luckily, it didn't go off. Police traced the weapon back to Paul Freshour, Mary's former brother-in-law. He'd recently separated from her sister, Karen Sue. Paul denied involvement, but investigators found similar handwriting in his garage, and based largely on that and circumstantial evidence, he was convicted of attempted murder. He was never charged with sending the letters, but the judge allowed the accusations into the trial anyway. Paul was sentenced to 7 to 25 years in prison. Letters from prison. With Paul behind bars, many thought the nightmare was over. It wasn't. The letters kept coming. Even as Paul sat in solitary confinement with no access to writing tools or visitors, the mailboxes in Circleville stayed full. Even more bizarre, Paul himself began receiving letters in prison, taunting him. The sheriff, reporters, and TV stations also received notes, some calling the court corrupt, others mocking Paul's arrest. Tests on the letters confirmed the same style and tone, sometimes even the same postmarks. So how could Paul be sending them? The warden said it was impossible, yet the letters continued. Suspects and theories. The mystery only deepened. Some pointed to Karen Sue, Paul's ex-wife, as a possible suspect. She had motive, access to his handwriting, and a long-standing grudge. Others believed it was someone with insider access, perhaps in law enforcement, able to plant evidence and keep the real writer safe. One theory suggests the Circleville letters weren't from one person, but a group, a coordinated effort to manipulate or intimidate residents. Another theory? That the entire investigation was botched, and the real writer slipped through the cracks while police pinned it on the most convenient suspect. To this day, no theory has been proven, and no one else has ever been charged. National attention and new clues. In 1994, Unsolved Mysteries aired an episode on the case. It brought the story back into the spotlight, sparking thousands of letters and calls to law enforcement. Some viewers claimed to recognize the handwriting, others pointed to similar cases in other towns. But nothing led to a breakthrough. Paul Freshour was released shortly after the episode aired. He maintained his innocence for the rest of his life, until he passed away in 2012. Why it still haunts us. Eventually, the letters stopped, but the fear they created never really left Circleville. To this day, some residents still whisper about it. Others refuse to talk at all. There's something especially disturbing about being watched by someone you can't see, someone who knows everything about you and tells the world. The Circleville Letters case became a blueprint for small-town paranoia, anonymous harassment, and failed justice. Still unsolved. To this day, no one knows who wrote the Circleville Letters or how they knew so much. Was it Paul Freshour, his ex-wife, someone on the inside? Or did the town fall victim to something bigger and far stranger than anyone expected? One thing is certain, Circleville was never the same. Thanks for watching Unread Files. Follow for more stories that stay with you, long after the letters stop.